So I was watching some Brethren videos talking about another one of his niche Roblox games. But then I remember an old niche Roblox game that I used to play as well, camping. It's been a while since that game have been talked about, and there are currently 5 installments of the camping series made by SamsonXVI. And because I like the camping series, you know what I'm going to be doing based on the title. Anyways, I'm Basilif, and I wish I thought of a better name when I made this account back in 2019. But today, we're going to be ranking the camping series from worst to best. But just a quick disclaimer, the ranking may or may not just be based on what 10 or 11-year-old me experienced back when I played the game for the first time. Well, to be fair, it is mostly around 10-year-old me's experience. So yeah, there will be nostalgic bias towards the ranking, and also because my taste in games have changed, and while I do replay all the games again for researches and nostalgic purposes, the gameplay didn't age well. For me, I guess. But yeah, let's jump right to the ranking, starting from the worst camping game from the camping series.
That's it? That was just a bunch of cheap.
Mansion. I remember not really liking Mansion back then because it was kinda boring for some reason, but I guess it's because there are not many scares or creepy stuff in the game. It's just a bit generic and doesn't really have the same feel compared to the other installment. It's comparable to the other story games back then. The game does feel like a filler even when it just came out. I feel like Mansion can just not exist and it probably won't really change anything towards the story or the series in general. Well, I guess I can argue that Hotel are just the same as that. To make things worse, there's only one ending to this game, and it was pretty disappointing. But yeah, I guess I didn't like it because it wasn't as scary, and also the game felt a bit shorter in terms of duration. Even if it's only like 5 minutes, it still quite matter. I think this is the only camping game where I finish it in one sitting because it's, I guess, that easy.
After all, you only got 5 nights at Freddy's.
Camping 3 is a disappointing finale. Yeah, that's probably what the title of a Camping 3 videos will be if it were relevant today. But yeah, it is a pretty disappointing finale. It has at least a better spook than Mansion because we're back to the whole camping scenario. To be fair, the only part that's quite creepy was the part when the monster ran past it in the forest. Speaking of monster, what the fuck is this crap? The monster design is very, very ugly. And it's not even bad, just ugly. It looks like a knockoff of FNAF and Chuck E. Cheese, which unfortunately a design Samson also used for his other story game, Mouse Academy, which I never played because it looks bad. And for some reason, it's a suit that Zack wears just like his daughter, even though Zack literally got killed by the sun during camping too. And for some reason, he's able to summon lightning to attack. I thought Zack Nolan was just a normal guy, not Zeus. The mine section in Camping 3 is probably the most memorable part of the game. It's really unique and also very goofy because we actually get the body parts of the person we want to aid. But my main issue, and it was a little issue I have, for a game back then was, the ending always broke for me. When I get to this part of the ending cutscene, for some reason, it's broken. It was just gonna freeze and then I didn't get the ending. And it's not even the game that freeze, it's just the cutscene itself stuck. And I already tried this like 3 times, so I never actually knew what the ending was. Which I probably then searched on YouTube, but of course I forgot. Speaking of ending, there's unfortunately also just one ending to this game. A bad one even. If you didn't know, the father of this family accidentally killed Zack's daughter by a car crash, which we found out in Manson from news appeared on the TV. And he apologized to Zack about his mistake. But then, Zack just accepted? You've literally killed countless of people. There's no way all of those killing are just an act of revenge. You killed the family first, so there's absolutely no reason for you to even continue being a murderer. Also, Zack tried to stop our cart from falling over the cliff, and he fell Lion King style. I don't know, after replaying the game and seeing this ending, I didn't like it.
Whoa, what a cool mountain!
I was conflicted on whether to put Hotel in the 4th place or even 5th place, because I'm gonna be honest, after replaying it again, the gameplay is a bit empty than the other installment. I mean, to be honest, Mansion still has a better gameplay than Hotel. There's more, I I guess, things compared to Hotel where half of its gameplay is just you basically following the storyline and just do nothing. Of course, that doesn't factor the curse room, elevator parkour, and the boss fight. But I do appreciate the story, which the last two games kind of failed to deliver. It's also the first time we actually met the family that Zack murders later, which is really cool. Of course, because this ranking is mostly based on nostalgia bias, I do want to say that my most memorable moments are the boss fight. Because I suck at basically gaming back then, I failed it a lot. And when I finally beat it, oh man was it good. I like the monster design, still kinda do. It's really cool that the monster in Hotel aren't just like a real monster, but when you found out in Mansion, it's actually a suit that Zack's daughter wore to, I guess, keep her soul intact. Which really speaks about Mansion, where it could probably be a better game with all the lore built up. But man, the game is boring and generic. I think Zack Nolan really likes FNAF. Looking back, Hotel is actually the most popular game in the series, which is kinda interesting. But anyway, why is the daughter's monster called Limbo in Camping 3? It sounds unfitting, and the daughter could probably be a better nickname for it. You know, parallel to the son, the monster in Camping 1. Speaking of Camping 1,
Let's gather round the campfire and sing our campfire song.
the one that started all, the start of a new Roblox age. But yeah, I think it's fair to put Camping in second place. For such an old game, the gameplay could still probably work in today's standard of Roblox horror games. It just needed some more story and stuff, I don't know. Compared to the other installment, Camping is probably the most scariest out of them all due to the darker environment. Some people back then wouldn't even know. They saw a game called Camping and goes, "Hey, let's play this silly looking camping game. It's gonna be so fun." And then a black monster just spawned in the middle of the campfire uninvited and is asserting dominance. And after that, Roblox devs start to follow the formula for their own story games and create a sub-genre inside the genre called a story game with a black man antagonist. But the reason I didn't put Camping in the first place is also because the game is a lot harder than the other installment. It's more punishing, and the amount of players that are more likely to survive are just 1 to 3 people. And because that's just how the story always went, it's impossible for all the players to survive and create this not beginner friendly thing. Because the task in the game is indeed hard, especially the sandwich retrieving part and the kidnapping part. For the sandwich retrieving, of course, it's because of the rain, but the kidnapping part, if you're the only person left in the game or the other person in the game left, which happens a lot to me back then, you're just gonna get soft locked and won't be able to continue with the game. I mean, will Park Ranger Daniel even try looking for you? No, that guy is an asshole. It kinda sucks because it's a hassle to just replay the game over and over because the overall difficulty just to beat it once. Zack, I really like Camping too, because the game logo is blue and it looks nice. But because it's basically camping but with a bit better stuff. It has a better pacing than Camping 1, and I really like that the groups are split between the tent or the cabin when staying for the first night. But of course, the group that stayed in the tent are the one that gets the end of the stick, because the antagonist of the game hunted the group on the tent first. Speaking of antagonists, Zack Nolan. My boy Zack. Kinda miss him. Really great design for a killer antagonist, and he also has such a sick ass name like Zack Nolan. I don't know, it sounds really cool. After finding out that that was actually a fake name all along, when we found out in Mansion that Zack's name was actually Jack Logan, I was a bit bitter. But like, Zack Nolan is the better name, and I guess Jack used it to hide his identity for seeking revenge to his daughter. I don't know, I'm not American, but Zack Nolan sounds cooler. I think it's because of the Z, or Z, 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 Z. Alright, talking about the game again. This time, Camping 2 is more beginner friendly than the prequel, so it's a bit easier to beat the game. The obstacles or task isn't the hardest thing in the world, but also not annoying. There's a less chance of death and just makes the game a bit more fun. I think it's possible for the entire group to survive until the end, but I'm not sure. Even then, the game still has enough scares or spooks for the atmosphere to still make it scary, and also worth being a sequel. The part where we're touring the bathroom is always pretty creepy. The new forest, or I guess park location, feels refreshing, and probably the better location compared to camping and camping trees. Anyways, I guess that's it for the ranking. It was kind of fun going back and replaying the camping series again, and seeing how I'll never played games like this if it came out today. That's just a mere power of nostalgia. I mean, look at Underground Hangout game. But yeah, that is all from me. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and remember to subscribe as well. Thanks for watching.